Hello guys, I continue my mini-series here on YouTube of 5 videos about freelancing. This is the video number 4, so tomorrow will be the last one, and the full course is called Lessons from my 15 years of freelancing, and you can check that out with the link in the description below. But today's video is about learning to say no and learning to negotiate. This is a very crucial part of freelancing career. So let's talk about that in this short video. If you have any questions or comments, put them below the video. Learn to say no. Learn to negotiate. Quite often freelancers look at their clients as their bosses. The boss tells you what to do, sometimes even how to do that, and you just agree and deliver. But in reality, freelancers need to negotiate with clients. Before the project, you should make a deal about the price, about the scope of the project. And during the project, you should not agree to everything that the clients say or demand. Yes, you need to have some negotiation and even political skills. You can read separate books on those. I do recommend a book called Never Split the Difference. But in short, you need to learn how to say no to the client in a polite way. You're doing a disservice by saying yes to everything, for both of you. A lot of freelancers think that if they say yes to everything that the clients demand, they are doing a good service to the client and the client is happier. Yes, in the short term. But in the long term, freelancer is not happy with the payment or with too much work. Then in the long run, the freelancer is not that motivated to continue the work, which in turn does a disservice to a client and for their project in the future. If the client says they need an extra feature on top of the main feature, you may say, yes, I will do it, or no, I won't do it, right? But those are two extremes. There's something in the middle. For example, asking the client, do you really need that feature? Why do you need it? Maybe we can think of some alternative which doesn't involve extra time. Or you can say, yes, I will deliver that feature, but then we need to remove some other feature from the task list. There's also a potential of upselling and telling the client they need to pay extra money for extra features. So instead of saying no, you need to work towards yes and or no but options. And this is where communication and dialogues before the projects are extremely important. Perhaps even more important than writing the code. The more you agree to in the very beginning, the less uncertainty there will be down the road. You would have fewer uncomfortable conversations, negotiations, and so-called scope creep. You need to tell the client up front that, for example, no, I won't do any design if you don't do that. No, I won't include SEO services if you don't provide them. That's on a global level, but sometimes it even makes sense on a more detailed level to specifically tell the client what you will not do, to avoid potential extra work or conflict with the client in the future. Speaking of conflicts, you should avoid them, but sometimes it's not that easy. If you feel that the client is really demanding and doesn't accept your no as an answer, it happens multiple times, then I would qualify that client as kind of a red flag client, as I call them. We will talk about those a bit later in this course and discuss what to do with those clients. So these negotiation skills are hugely important because they may affect a big chunk of work and extra hours money. If you make your coding process more effective, you may win or lose a few hours here and there. But if you agree to unpaid work for a longer amount of hours, then you may lose much more time and money. The damage is bigger, including your mental state. And you can practice those negotiation skills in everyday life. You can negotiate about anything with anyone, with your teammates, with your family, with friends. Questions like, where do we go to have dinner? Or how do we spend our free time? They're all negotiations happening in everyday life. We just don't call them negotiations formally. So you can practice the same skills, the same saying no politely, the same compromises, and you would then later use them in those important moments of negotiations with the clients.